Hey guys, welcome to my Tesla Garage with Tesla Tim. This is episode 5. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Tesla semi-truck unveiling. That's going to be part 1, and part 2 is going to be about Tesla Tim, our social media outlets. So I'll let you guys know. I've kind of been mentioning them on our site, Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. But I'm going to kind of give you guys all the information in one-stop shop. So if you guys are watching the video, you guys know about what we have to offer for social media outlets. So let's get started. Alright guys, welcome back. So before I get started, I don't know if you hear it, but Megatron is making a lot of noise. So I think it's cooling the batteries down or something, but you can hear it running. And actually, before I start talking about the Tesla semi-truck unveiling, I wanted to mention a bug I have going on with Megatron. It's been on the Tesla forums and all that, but if you play the Christmas Easter egg, after you play the Easter egg, the actual the mirrors will no longer retract. So when you lock the door, they won't retract, and they won't retract when you hit the button at all. It's just like they're broken, right? So I called Tesla Service Center, let them know, we need to bring this in because of that, and there's a couple other things I'm having them look at again. But a day later, they started working again magically. I don't know if they pushed some kind of an update through or something to make them work. And then I had another relative ask me to play the Christmas Easter egg again, and now they're broken again. They won't fold in. So I'm sure Tesla's working on it. But to all you Model X owners out there, if you haven't experienced it, just be careful. I think it's only with hardware 2 of Autopilot. I think Autopilot 1 hardware is fine. From what I'm seeing on the forums. That was a side note. So let's get to the Tesla semi-truck unveiling. I'm sure everybody's kind of heard about it. And if you guys look over in this area right here, I'm actually going to put up a picture of the teaser of the semi-truck. It's actually, it's pretty neat looking. It looks like a pimped out Tesla semi. And so what is the Tesla semi? What is it? And it's exactly what it says. It's basically a big rig semi truck competing with the cross country diesel trucks. And I'm not sure why Tesla wants to get in that space other than emissions. There's a lot of diesel emissions that's just going into our atmosphere like crazy when those things are driving around. So when I think of a semi truck too, when I'm driving, I just think of a big scary truck on the road. I try to I'm not sure if you guys do it too, and not only if you have a Tesla or you're just driving a regular car, but when you're on the highway and you're next to a semi truck, you basically try to floor it to get past it because you don't want to be by it. And you also think of the driver, how long has he been driving because you don't want him to fall asleep and run into you. And that's another reason why my wife and I'm not so much. My wife kind of freaks out about semi trucks. So the Tesla semi is going to be a semi truck, and I guess the rumors say it's going to be between 200 and 300 miles of range. It's going to use Model 3 parts, and it's going to have all the Tesla bells and whistles that we're used to in the Model X, S, and the 3. So with that said, one of the things I was thinking about is who's going to compete with Tesla in that space. And we all know that all the all the diesel powered semis are going to be competing at that point. We know they're going to be on edge wondering how this is going to play out for them, right? But I don't want to really compare them to a diesel truck at the moment. Now, obviously they're going to be stealing those sales once their truck comes out, and I have no doubt that it's going to come out and it's going to be, looking at the actual teaser of the semi, it looks beautiful. So, but I want to see who's going to compete EV to EV against Tesla in the semi space. So I was doing some research, and I'm not sure if you guys have seen this yet, and I'll actually link a video to the two vehicles that I found, so you guys can kind of watch them too and see, like, if you haven't seen them, you can see what they're all about. And oh, Megatron finally with this being quiet. So the first one is Nikola One. It's kind of interesting because obviously you have Nikola Tesla, right? So they weren't. Nikola wasn't. They didn't invent or be creative about their name. They just took the first name of Tesla, Nikola, and said, okay, let's make a semi truck. So it's called the Nikola One. And I don't pound for pound. I don't see this as a competing vehicle to the Tesla semi truck, just because Nikola One is a little bit different. If you guys haven't seen or heard about Nikola One, it's actually an EV as well. It does have a battery. It does have an electric drivetrain, so it's going to be just the same as Tesla, right? But there's one extra addition. They say you're never going to have to plug in. So that sounds interesting, right? But actually what it is, it's they actually power you up with hydrogen fuel. So you're going to have to fill your truck up with hydrogen and then drive that around. The hydrogen's actually going to power the battery. So it's like a small power plant built in. It's going to power your battery, and your battery is going to power the drivetrain. So their claim to fame is you'll never plug in. You're just going to have all this hydrogen floating around in your truck. And that's going to power your battery and then battery to the drivetrain. So what do you guys think about that? You think that's actually a good idea to have a bunch of hydrogen hanging around in your truck? I mean, that doesn't sound very safe. I don't know. I haven't done too much research, but I heard hydrogen's pretty flammable. So, I mean, I don't know. The Hindenburg thing, that didn't go over too well, right? But let's just kind of look a little bit more at, sorry about that. I don't know if it's too soon for that. But so let's look at Nikola One. So you look at their specs. They have a 320 kilowatt hour battery. Pretty impressive, right? They say you never have to plug in. They say they're going to get 1,000 horsepower. They also say they're going to give you free fuel for the first 1,000,000 miles. Okay, that's pretty cool. But now you got to find where that fuel is, and Tesla's been out for a while. There's superchargers all over the place, and they're coming every day in a new location. Now this company's going to build out a bunch of hydrogen plants that you can stop by. I don't know. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate, but I kind of am. I don't know if Nikola One is a true competitor to Tesla's semi, but that's what they have to offer. Their range, they say, is between 800 and 1,200 miles. So you figure a 320 kilowatt hour battery pack, that's going to be, keep on getting recharged by that hydrogen fuel. And as you're using the battery, it's going to keep on getting charged until your hydrogen fuel is depleted. So, EV to EV though, because they do have a drivetrain, your Nikola One's going to have your regenerative braking, which is beautiful. I love that. They're going to have all the bells and whistles that a electric drivetrain brings to the table. Their autopilot software is not really, I'm sure they're going to have autopilot in there, and I didn't even pay attention if that was even part of their package deal that they're bringing to the masses. But you have to think about the Tesla has so many miles in their cloud right now from all their existing Teslas. So it's not, I don't call it competition, but that's one of the EVs on the market that's coming out. They have a video. I'll put a link maybe in this area right here where you guys can click on it. It might be up here. Where you guys can click on it and watch that video of the Nikola One. So the other competitor, which was kind of leaked there, is Cummins. Cummins actually is huge for diesel stuff, and they came out with an all-electric EV, so I think it's a direct competitor to Tesla. It's called the Aeos, or I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It's AEOS, and I'll put a video link up there as well. They do have a video of it driving. That actually has only 120 miles of range, 140 kilowatt hour battery pack, and it takes 1 hour to charge the battery to full. That's about all the information I have about that. They said it's a Class 7 truck, and I think Class 8s, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong if you have any guys that drive trucks watching the channel, comment down below, but I think Class 7 is not really your direct competitor to your big rig trucks. I think it's like your local delivery trucks. But I think that makes sense because this is only 120 miles of range. Excuse me, you're not going very far. And if you take an hour to charge, you're gonna go very, you know, you do a lot of local deliveries and stuff like that. They're looking at 2019 to have their trucks come out. Same thing with Nikola One. They're looking at 2019 as well into 2020. So that's the two competitors. You have Nikola One. You have Cummins. Cummins video is going to be right here in this area. Again, it's just a small video on YouTube. It shows them kind of driving it back and forth. It is super quiet. I haven't seen any videos out there of Nikola One driving around. Just a unveiling video, which also was linked previous, so you guys can see that. So if you guys have any questions at this moment, like down below, I mean, just throw some comments down below in the and see, like, you know, what do you guys think about these two competing EVs against Tesla semis? Is something that you think is even on par with them? I don't think so. Let's get into what we think the Tesla semi is going to be about, right? And it's kind of exciting because you got these two cars behind me. You have the Model X and the Model S, and the Model 3 is just being released. And all the technology that's in them and how good they drive. Now that technology is going into a semi truck. That's pretty awesome. So the rumors for the Tesla semi truck are 200 to 300 miles of range. It's going to use some Model 3 parts, maybe a bunch of drivetrains from the Model 3. And it's going to come with all the trimmings that you see in a Model X or S. It's going to have autopilot. It's going to have all your cameras around it, your radar system, everything that you can imagine that's inside of a Tesla. It might even have a frunk, who knows, is going to be inside of your Tesla semi. And to me, that gets me excited. So you think about, I mean, this is on an EV point. Like, you think about the Tesla or any semi that's electric, but the Tesla semi in general. The thing that makes you afraid of a semi when you're on the road is the driver falling asleep. So autopilot and autonomous driving coming soon thereafter kind of almost makes me not if, you know, obviously they're not going to be on the road everywhere, but if you're by a Tesla semi, you're not so afraid, right? Also, when you're by an EV vehicle, they automatically stop using the regenerative braking, using the drivetrain. So that's going to make stopping on these semis so much quicker, so much more less distance to have to go. So like when, you know, a lot of these drivers that cut off semis, you know, and they don't understand the semi needs a lot of feet to stop, a lot of distance, a lot of, you know, a bigger gap. But with your Tesla semi, because of the regenerative braking and the drivetrain, you don't have to worry about that. It's going to stop on a dime. It's, you know, it's going to have the load behind it, but it's going to be able to stop a lot quicker. Now, being a driver of a semi, going downhill, before you had to shift through your gears, your lower gears going downhill, they're on your four ways. Now you're going to have your regenerative braking to kind of help you go down the hill, and it's going to generate power back into your battery pack, which is pretty awesome. So the reason I'm really actually doing this video is I actually personally I want to see them unveil this thing, and they're actually unveiling the Tesla Semi on October 26th, and it's actually at Tesla's Hawthorne studio in California. So I need 2 more referral codes to get there, and if we do go, I'm gonna do a live YouTube live video, and also I'm gonna have my wife with me to kind of film us there, film the whole experience behind the scenes, and then we'll do a live video, kind of similar to like the way Now You Know did. They actually got to take the test ride inside the Model 3, so we'll do the same thing inside the Semi, assuming we can get enough referrals to do so. So we need 2 more, and if you want Tesla Tim to be there and we can do videos while we're there, that'll be awesome. So to me, what makes the Tesla Semi so special? Why will it be better than all the rest of the guys out there? Why is it going to succeed? And this is actually, I think, to me, it's pretty simple. Is batteries. Nikola One needs a battery. So does Cummins. They need a battery. And who creates the batteries? Who has a battery factory? Who has a gigafactory? Tesla does. They're generating tons and tons of batteries for their Powerwalls, for the Model 3s, for the S's, for the X's. for the upcoming Tesla Roadster. So they have the capacity, they have the potential to generate all these batteries for these vehicles. I don't see Cummins with a battery factory. I don't see Nikola One. Where are they getting their batteries from? Are they manufacturing their own? So I think that alone is going to be like the barrier to entry for those other two companies where Tesla's already there. They're already building their own. They already have the largest battery factory ever. And then also Tesla's already in the space. Like Nikola, they've never made a truck before. Now they're making a semi. They've never been in this space. They might be consulting with people, but they've never been in this space. Cummins has been in the space of making a diesel truck, but they've never been in the EV space. Tesla's there. They've been there, done that. So they're just honing their craft and putting it into a semi. So since they've already been there, I think it's going to be easy enough to be a success. What do you guys think? I think the barrier to entry for Tesla also is the same thing that makes them have the advantage is the batteries. Like, for example, the Model 3, 400,000 plus reservations. They have to supply all those batteries to all 400,000 plus. Are they going to take those batteries away from the Model 3s to make semis? Or are they going to increase capacity to make more batteries? So, I think that's the same barrier to entry as their actual feather in their cap. It's the same thing, really. That's what I think. Another feather in Tesla's cap too, and why it will succeed is their charging network. Right now, they have the largest supercharging network in the United States, I'd say in the world. But I don't anticipate Tesla actually using the existing network they have to power the semi trucks. But if you look at their track record for the ramp up and the capacity and the amount of superchargers that are out there for our Model S's and Model X's and every Tesla product out there besides the semi, it's pretty amazing. I've taken tons of cross country trips, and there's I've never not had an area I can't go that doesn't have a supercharger. Maybe I'm just lucky, but those main routes from Buffalo to Arizona or Buffalo to Florida, and Buffalo to Louisiana, those all have superchargers, and I never had to go out of my way to charge. So to me, I think it's a feather in their cap, being able to have the supercharger network. But that network, again, is not going to be used. I think they're going to build out a supercharger network just for the semi-trucks. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to be a higher capacity supercharger that will charge at a higher rate so that the charging time will be less. So it'll be higher capacity, faster charging, like a flash type charge. But also I heard that Tesla just kind of released a patent or applied for a patent on a battery swapping technology. And I think this has been mentioned before, and they showed it in one of the videos for Tesla where they actually swapped out a battery in a Tesla. They had like a guy refilling his tank from empty to full, versus a guy coming on stage and having his battery swapped out. That technology's already been here, and it never came to fruition with the S and the X. I don't think the idea of me taking if I bought a brand new S and I'm done with my charge and I go down the road and I get a used battery put in my car, I don't think that idea is a great idea. And then you have to come back and pick your battery up. I heard logistically it wasn't set up properly. But I think the battery swap technology for semi trucks could be something that could be honed, and might be a possibility to make the long distance travel a lot easier. But to me, I don't like the battery swap technology. I think the higher capacity supercharging is what we need to do for the semi trucks. Because they need to stop, they need to take a rest. So have them rest and have that thing just get juiced up like an hour or however long is from 0 to 300, 400 miles, how many miles they have. So that's basically, I think, to me, a feather in their cap, because they have the supercharging network. They just have to figure out how they're gonna increase the charging capacity, higher wattage or what. So that's basically the end of our part one to this video about the Tesla semi truck. I think it's a really cool vehicle. I'll never own one because I don't have any need or want to be able to to take stuff and deliver it to different places. But I think the idea, I think the necessity for this is very great. You see if you take any road trips, which we have across country, you see all the semi trucks going across country, and there's a lot of them, and all of them are polluting our environment. All of them are, you know, contributing to our ozone layer getting thinner and thinner, to our global warming, whatever you want to call it. But bottom line is, I think it's a great idea and it needs to be tackled. And Elon Musk is all about the planet and sustainability. I think this is the right direction, a step in the right direction. So if you guys want Tesla Tim to hang out at the semi truck unveiling, if anybody out there is watching our video and they're like, hey, I'm gonna buy a Tesla, but I'm not sure whose code to use, I'm gonna put basically a link down below in the comment section of our description section of our code. I'll also have it down here, right here below, so you guys can kind of like copy and paste or just like write the code down. And you know, we need 2 more, and we can go there and we can live stream this, and it'll be a pretty cool experience. So hopefully you guys like the video. Part 2 coming up. Peace.